Ooh, what's happening, guys? Welcome to another eclectic edition of PWT Podcast, episode 96. Yeah. Joining me today, I have an esteemed panel of three of my good buds. Today in the building, we have from the Last Call podcast, Chris Connors. From Alt Jake Takes On Spaces and YouTube channel, Alt Jake.
Yo.
And from the same place, but ancient time, vintage Jordan Kaptur. How you guys doing?
Oh, God. We are good. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good, man. I'm excited for Night of Champions is coming up this Saturday. There was some drama involving the event. Riyadh season is in full effect. We covered, of course, if you guys... to plug myself here at the top of the show, youtube.com/@prowrestleclips, @prowrestletimes, and patreon.com/prowrestletimes. And become a member or a patron. You get access to my Monday shows that are for members only. And make sure you guys tune into those. I break a lot of good stuff in those as far as hot news in my mind, or my hot theories, as I like to call them. You know, I ain't a dirt sheet over here, but I drop some shit, and Phil don't like to miss often. And pretty much I was pretty confident that the Saudi Arabia Night of Champions show, before we break down the card, it was going to go down without a hitch, and I'm pretty positive it's still going to go off without a hitch. So for those of you listening at home, the controversy surrounding the show was that Iran, not to get geopolitical or anything like that, I suck at that, but Iran basically was putting out these crazy AI videos and threatening America in general, etc. And there's a big Saudi Arabia WWE show, and people were worried that, you know, planes could be shot down, and Iran was threatening everyone. And then there was a ceasefire, and then I guess the ceasefire wasn't legit, and then I guess it was legit, and then I guess Trump was on the news like this morning or whatever, being like, yeah, they're dumbasses, like they don't know what the fuck they're doing, because I guess Iran and Israel keep fighting with each other even though they agreed to stuff. So it's all over the place. It's a bit of a mess, but ultimately at the end of the day, Iran isn't going to attack Saudi Arabia. I'm pretty confident of that. And also, as they were threatening everyone, I had pointed out, and none of the dirt sheet writers pointed this out, boys, UFC, as Iran's making all these threats and whatnot, and the day of that they're saying we're targeting Americans and all this shit, UFC held an event in Baku, Azerbaijan. Two Americans had main evented. Khalil Roundtree Jr. took on who did he fight? Hill. Jamal Hill. And so they fought each other, and I mean, they were still in the hospital. I don't think people were flown out of there until even like the next. I'm sure some people were there until Sunday or Monday or whatever, like yesterday. So yeah, again, they didn't do shit. Azerbaijan's a bordering country to Iran, right? So they would have just pulled up on them, and they have beef or whatever. And then Saudi's over like the mountains, and Qatar's there, and Qatar like stopped all flights and stuff. So it's a little scary. Some WWE staff got stuck at an airport for a little bit. I guess they're all good. People have been going in and out of there, I guess, like all week, ready to set up this show. But all the drama and controversy aside, it seems like the show will go on. And it's so funny how yesterday and the day before, how the IWC was completely melting down. And then you look at the IWC today, you go on Twitter, you go on YouTube, whatever, and just no one's even talking about this shit. No one gives a fuck. It's just blown over. It's just the mainstream news and the fucking IWC, internet wrestling community, blowing shit way out of proportion. It's guys like John Alba thinking they're doing investigative journalism and reporting or whatever the fuck. I'm a journalist. And then meanwhile, you don't bring up that there was just UFC Baku and Azerbaijan, and nothing happened. You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't they do shit there? Dana White was there. They're promoting Canelo versus Crawford. They're eating dinner at Turkey Al Sheikh's house. They're having press conferences. All these TKO guys are out there. Not a goddamn thing happened. So I was just confident, like, look, man. And then apparently they attacked a military base in, like, they shot 14 missiles and 13 of them got knocked down. Only one got through. No one died or even got severely hurt or anything. So it's like, you know, I made the joke on my show, USA, USA, I'm Canadian. So it's like, go USA, go John, America, fuck yeah, you know? But like, that's good, right? Like, crisis averted, whatever. Yeah. And in my opinion, I think Night of Champions is going to go off without a hitch.
Definitely.
Controversy aside and all that, before we break shit down, I guess, well, not aside, I want your guys' thoughts, basically. Let me know, what did you guys think? We can start with Jake. What did you guys think of like this whole news that broke? And did you think WWE should have been worried? And if you were in their shoes, because I said it, if it was me and I was holding the keys to the $1 billion kingdom, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't make the guys go. I just wouldn't do it personally. But at the same time, just because I wouldn't bungee jump either, you know, it doesn't mean most people who bungee jump,
right? Yeah.
So, Jake, what was your thoughts on it all? And like, would you go? And were you worried that anything would happen?
So here's the thing: if there was a real threat or a real problem, I feel like WWE and TKO would have known that. Like you said, there was already an event there during the time. I was never worried that it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to go on as scheduled, as normal. I mean, it just seemed like people were putting the map up, and it's like, do you realize there's a lot more of a terrain in that space? They were putting it from like, right. You know, from the
there's a mountain and a fucking big body of water there in between.
Somebody
it all.
Put it up. With
Azerbaijan's like I think like 12 hours or whatever from Iran or whatever. So
yeah, somebody put it up with the legend. It's like 3 kilometers was like a half centimeter. I think it's like it's much bigger than you think. It's not like from like, I don't know, California to Texas or what. So I was just silly. I never thought it was that big of a deal. And I thought if it was going to be an issue, they would have rescheduled. Like, they're not going to put anybody at risk, especially with, I mean, you've got the card up here. That's 4 to 6 of their biggest stars in the company. They're not gonna risk that, plus the entire behind the scenes crew as well. So I don't think it's gonna do anything.
And John Cena and some of these guys, dude, are dealing with like huge talent agencies and shit that are all over that too. But sorry, Jake.
You're good. No, I was good. I was good at that point. I was just agreeing with you. That was the other thing I was gonna say. Their teams wouldn't let them go. Like, there's people that know way more than the rest of us do, that have people, you know, there's the real intelligence coming into. So I wasn't, if there was going to be an issue, we would have known about it by now, and it wouldn't have continued on.
Would you go if you had the fucking keys to the $1 billion kingdom? Are you sending the boys, and are you going?
Me personally, I mean,
if you could say yes or no, like,
if there isn't a threat, I'll go. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things, because if there isn't anything additional of a threat, you know, because there's always a threat when you travel anywhere. I've traveled to a bunch of different places in my life. I've been to,
dude, there's a threat. You don't want to get shot. Don't leave the front porch. You know what I mean? Like, don't leave the house, you know?
You know, exactly. Bad things can happen anywhere. And it didn't seem like this specifically was anything more dangerous because of what's going on. I mean, there's been unrest in the Middle East for my entire life. I turned 43 last week. And so it's not anything that new, unfortunately. I wish it was. I would love it to be a peaceful world, but it's not the world we've ever lived in.
Chris Connors, dude, what say you, man? You know, UFC holds the Baku event. And did you think the UFC people maybe were in danger at any time? And again, did you think this was blown out of proportion by the IWC?
No, to the Baku thing, because I don't think, like, Azerbaijan is also a Russian sort of friendly country, so I don't think Iran wanted to poke that bear. That was no.
Right.
In Saudi Arabia, they are the power brokers in the Middle East. I mean, nobody does anything without them. So I thought it was, I know that, the dirt sheets and Fightful and all those idiots are going, oh no, there might be like their planes might get attacked, blah, blah, blah. You don't do that to the Saudis. There's always that sort of like understanding within the country. Like, look, the Saudis have a lot of power. They could easily just get all of a sudden Russia, China, United States to turn on you if they go, hey, we're getting attacked. So no, I thought it was I thought it was going to end within like 24 hours, and everybody's going to go, and WWE is going to collect that $50 million paycheck they're getting from Saudis.
$50 million a piece. You get 50, you get 50. And here's the thing. They used to fly into like active war zones with no Saudi money. Like, they'd be on war bases fucking surrounded by tanks. And Jonathan Coachman's like, we were getting shot at. And it's like, but in Saudi, bro, if a Saudi private plane goes to get the people stuck in Qatar, like they're going to take care of WWE's people, and they're not going to let shit happen. And the Iranians aren't going after
money solves a lot of problems.
Yeah, man, that's the thing. So, George, what about you, man? You've seen a lot of wars in your day and your time. I think World War I, World War II. Yeah. What do you think about?
We're on the brink of Civil War.
We're on the brink of World War III. I made the joke. That's my new federation's name, WW3, pal. Were you worried about it, or did you think Iran was just talking shit? Like a lot of people.
It was going to be a short-term thing, which it was, which it supposedly still will be. You know, there was Iran, Iraq when I was 17, 18 years old. Same shit, different years. That's all.
That's
and
what
WWE's never going to cancel anything. If you remember, 9/11 was on a Tuesday, and they did a show that Thursday in Houston.
Yep.
So they're not going to cancel anything.
Yeah.
It's going to go. It was never a problem with me. So, and yes, I would go.
You would go?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
$50 million speaks volumes.
I know.
If you're in charge, I'm like, well, I'd want that 50 mil. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's got to be more than even 50 mil. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking boatloads of money to go and do these shows and bring the stars that they bring there as well. That's like a big thing in all of this.
How much is he worth?
Turkey Al-Sheikh?
Yeah.
Bro, it's undocumented wealth. You know what I mean? Literally. Like, it's deeper than fucking, it's like those NASCAR drivers. Like, you see the list of, here's the highest paid athletes, and some people might argue that like F1 drivers and shit aren't athletes, but man, those guys get paid like undocumented amounts of money, you know?
Yeah.
It's bigger than the amount of Max watchers in Dave's head. It's bigger than that.
Yeah, there you go, dude. You add 30% on top of the 30% you had. Okay, so leading into Night of Champions, we had the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments, which it is a little odd that the card's called Night of Champions, and there's only a few title matches. Now, one of them got removed due to injury with Dominic Mysterio, and he may be shoot hurt, I suppose. And we know some stuff may have been flipped around for Liv, but I think that affects Evolution a little bit more, which we can talk about in a bit. I think the Bellas were supposed to either lose, obviously it's 50-50, or win those belts, but I think Roxanne Perez is just going to replace Liv at Evolution, and it'll be Roxanne and Raquel defend the titles against the Bellas, and then the Bellas will win them, and then when Liv comes back, that can cause more of a rift between. It's sort of a blessing in disguise in a weird way, again, story wise, because it'll cause a rift between like her and Roxanne and Raquel more. And this is all allegedly fantasy mark book and shit here at PWT, but what wasn't fantasy mark booked and what happened pen to paper, it went down. We had the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. So they started with 4 fatal 4-ways: Breaker, Mysterio, Penta, Zayn. Zayn won. Black, Hayes, Knight, Orton won. Andrade, Rhodes, Priest, Nakamura. Rhodes won. Reed, Uso, Rusev, Sheamus, Jay won. Okay, and then we got Sami Zayn versus Randy Orton, which is like babyface versus babyface. Orton gets the win. Then we had Rhodes versus Uso this last night on Raw in a fucking classic, dude. That was a classic match. It's a classic Raw match right there. Rhodes versus Uso, 20-minute banger on the nose. Cody Rhodes gets the win. It is Orton versus Rhodes in the finals.
Wow.
And that's a big name match for Saudi Arabia. That's huge. And the tournament overall, what did you guys think quickly just on the overall men's King of the Ring tournament in general? Do you like how they switched up the format? Just give me general thoughts. We can start with Chris.
It's okay. I mean, it's just as soon as you saw the format, it was almost very predictable.
A little bit,
I wish they just did like, okay, rename it the Eddie Guerrero tournament. Whoever gets it gets any kind of title shot. United States.
The Eddie Guerrero.
Because nobody wants to wear that.
It's in Saudi Holmes. We're not in.
Think of it. Who wants to wear the crown? Like nobody wants to wear the crown. Nobody wants to put on the cape. I mean, Gunther looked at it like, oh my god, I'd rather let dry hump a baby seal and put that thing on. No. So just rename it. Eddie Guerrero tournament. Make it something where like a mid-carder can actually get a big push. Rather than like we knew as soon as it got to, okay, we're getting Orton versus Cody.
But the Saudis want the big match. They don't want the mid-carders, though, Chris. That's the one thing. So what do you say about... King of the
Ring on the Saudi thing? I mean, you can always do it at different times. This just feels like, yay, we're getting Cody versus Orton. Yay, we're getting it right away. Yay, we're getting Saudi. And it just felt so anticlimactic. Like, all right, just wake me up when I get to the finals.
So, Chris, you like me are a big boxing MMA fan, right? What do you make of them? Last year they did the champion versus champion, like super unification bout. We know that Saudi's all about like the super fights and all that, we want the big fights and all that. So last year they're like, hey, we're doing it for this super title, that didn't really mean anything. You didn't like that, okay? So to me,
there was no storyline. They just threw everybody together. It's like, oh yeah, we're doing this, and
that's how they get away with it, bro. That's how they get away with it, right? It's like, well, we're just unifying the belts. It's like in UFC, you can move up weight and unify the fucking titles or whatever, right? It's just you can just throw that together, and it kind of watered down MMA for a bit too. But this year they got away from that. They're like, hey, we're gonna do a crown, and if I had that piece of jewelry in my house, I'm sure it's worth a pretty penny, and whoever wins it, I'm sure gets to keep it, or maybe not the actual one. Maybe they get a plated replica one or something. But either way, man, Orton versus Cody Rhodes, it's a big matchup nonetheless, and they moved away from that. Jake, what do you think? Are these the right guys for the final of the men's King of the Ring? And what were your overall thoughts on the tournament?
So for that first part, yes, they are. Like I agree with Chris. When you saw them, when you saw all 16 of them, you kind of knew where it was going to go. Even it made the most sense and it worked out. The thing about the super match in Saudi, that's because they did 2 shows in Saudi last year because they did the King of the. They did this one, and it was like November of last year or October. I think it was November where they did that super match. And I mean, I didn't really care that much about that show, but I was happy they were doing that there. It's like perfect. And you nailed it. It's like it's put on a big show for them. Like, here's these big belts that we're gonna leave here.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did that. I'm pretty sure they did that with PFL and Bellator. What did they do in Saudi there, Chris, where they unified those MMA belts and then they gave the dudes the new belt with like a key, like a ring that you put in and it locks into your title. It was actually a really cool concept, but it's just it was these promotions nobody watches anymore.
Yeah, it's like, the Saudi or the Middle Eastern title or some. It's like, here's the belt, so Saudi's gonna hold it.
Yeah, Jake Paul will have that in no time, dude. He'll be the fucking Riyadh season cruiserweight champ. Chris called it before. Here's the thing, too, man. They had Crawford and Canelo eating dinner together, sipping fucking drinks together before their fight with Turkey Al Sheikh, and it's just I don't know, man. It's wild. But George, man, what do you think? What was your thoughts on the tournament? And are these the right guys for the finale?
Yeah, right guys for the final, no doubt. But if you're going to rename the tournament like Chris suggested, why not call it the Booker T tournament?
The King Booker tournament?
King Booker tournament, yes. No, the two guys that are there for a good reason. I have no problem with it at all.
Okay, the Booker T tournament. Jesus. So for the Queen of the Ring, again, this tournament kicks off a series of 4-ways, and we have Kairi Sane, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Roxanne Perez. Perez wins via pin. Jade Cargill, Michin, Nia Jax, Piper Niven. Jade Cargill gets the pin. Elba Fire, Alexa Bliss, Candice LeRae, Charlotte Flair. Alexa Bliss gets the pin. Now, this is what's crazy to me. Is that Asuka comes back. Asuka, Ivy Nile, Soda Water, Raquel Rodriguez, Stephanie Vaquer. Asuka gets the pin. So then we wind up with Roxanne versus Jade. Jade wins. And then we end up with Alexa Bliss, Asuka. Asuka wins. It's like Bliss comes back, beats these 3 other ladies. I feel like her losing in a 4-way But then again, this really elevated this Queen of the Ring to be like more high profile, especially when you have rookies on the other side and like Cargill and Perez. So I think that was probably the mentality, like we got to push Alexa a little bit before we give her the L. And then Asuka, that's like a big return win, you know, like fresh off her 4-way or whatever, because usually you can get away with not burying people and shit in a 4-way. Either you bury, this is the problem with triple threats and fatal 4-ways. Either like everyone gets buried or everyone comes out looking stronger. You know, it's either one or the other. There's no real in between. Like, oh, well, she looks strong and she looked kind of weak, you know? So I think that's the problem with them. And it's weird to live in a world now in 2025 where there's some like extreme fans who really love 4-ways and just like, yeah, throw 15 men in a tag team match and shit. And then you have a lot of folks who are like, well, we like strong singles matches again, like back in the day. Because I know when I was a kid, it was all about the multi-man ladder matches and shit, you know? But now, like I'm all about the big like one-on-one matches. I don't know. I'm a big bout guy, the best bout machine. Phil Marks. What can I say? Yeah, dude. So we wind up with Asuka and Jade Cargill. Now, I don't want predictions and shit. I just want your guys' thoughts. We can start with George. What do you think about the finalists? Are these the two right gals? Are you surprised with how this one was booked? I think this one was a little less predictable as far as where we, well, I don't know. I think you got to push Jade, right? Just give her the Brock Lesnar King of the Ring push. You got to do it. But your thoughts overall on just the tournament, and are these the right gals in the finals here?
I knew that Jade Cargill would be in there, but I'm trying to think to myself. I was trying to think who could be on the other side of the bracket that would give her the best match.
Yep.
And then Asuka came up in the first pairing there, or the first 4-way, and then I realized it was going to be her because Jade still is not the best in the ring, and Asuka's great in the ring, so she's going to learn a lot there, I think, personally.
And she's super over in Saudi. You can fucking look it up where that shit was reported on like years ago. Asuka's like super over in Saudi and shit. So that I think that's a huge part of it. But well, we'll talk about it when we do picks and predictions. But yeah, George, what'd you think of like the tournament overall though? Like, do you like this 4-way?
I don't like the 4-way, man. I hate the 4-way, man. I don't like them at all. I can't stand them. They drive me crazy.
You're like me, dude. Big bout machine, George Kaptur.
I'm still an older bout machine. That's all.
Yeah, the older bout machine, dude. Chris, what say you, pal?
I feel bad for Jade. I mean, I was looking here.
Why do you feel bad for her?
Because they've rushed her. I mean, we crap on Jade for not being ready, and it's like she had 55 matches in AEW, and like 30 of them were like 2-3 minute squashes. She gets to put the WWE, and she's not ready. I mean, she needed more time. You look at like Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair. They had over 150 to 200 matches before they got to WWE. You threw Jade in there, and just every time I watch her wrestle, she looks great. She's a phenomenal athlete. She has the presence. It just looks clunky, and I get it.
Yeah,
she's trying to,
I thought she improved a lot. Like on Raw, I was like, wow, she's selling her leg like in between shit. And I called her out. I was like, she's doing the rookie, like I'm slapping my knee, but it's not that. Even like on the false one too, and she just barely got her shoulder up near the end of the match there too. Like, her selling on that, I thought, is just leaps and bounds better. And during the commercial break as well, which again, it sucks. Well, it sucks for y'all, but I mean, I'm in Canada. I'm watching during the commercial break, and she's getting her leg worked over, and her selling's so good, like her facials, and like you can tell she's been actually acting and shit. And she's doing a Jonathan Majors movie and stuff like that. So I think that if this were the fucking 90s or 80s, someone at her skill level who looks like her right now, we would not be having this discussion about she's not ready. I think we'd be like, look at this specimen. But because the internet, we got all these marks talking shit. Am I wrong on that?
I think doing 4 or 5 minute matches, destroying people.
Well, yeah, I think your problem. Yeah, you're right. She wouldn't be in a 11.5 minute match with Roxanne Perez. Like, that's unnecessary, you know. But they got to keep Roxanne strong, and I don't believe in that. If they were going to beat Roxanne, just have her beat her in like 5-6 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Sorry. Jake, your thoughts overall? Is it the right two ladies, and what do you think about this shit we're talking about, Jade?
Well, the thing about Jade is I feel like I feel like you guys are both right in the sense of it where there's points where I feel like she gets lost at some point in every match, it seems like, because she's got moments where she does look like she's great or she's going well, and then either something gets messed up or she forgets something and then she gets lost, and you see, and it's like immediately she reverts back to what she was back when she was like 20 matches into AEW. Yeah, and it's like, damn it. Because you want her.
That's why you have to get trained good early on. That's why these NIL folks got to get scooped up, because now her muscle memory, like the way she learned, is like all fucking goofy and young Bucky.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, she goes back to being young Bucky, and it's not elite. She's one of those people that definitely probably could have really used time in NXT, and that's where she got rushed. It wasn't so much what she did on the main roster was rushed; it's that she needed more time before they put her up there. Like they probably brought her up 6 months, a year too soon, and we've seen it. I mean, as we've talked about in our Spaces show on Sunday, that Bianca Belair lost 6, 8, 10 months of her career babysitting Jade as her tag team partner because she had to, and it's just like, it doesn't, that's she really could have used some time with Shawn Michaels, I feel like.
But should she be in the final? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Chris. Yeah,
I wouldn't say she gets lost. It's we've all played sports, and when we start getting, when we start learning, there's that period where it's like, we're telling ourselves, instead of just doing it, we're like thinking, okay, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to chuck up on the bat. No, I need to get this for my 3-point shot. No, I need to kick this way to make a pass or throw, do a wrist shot. And it feels awkward because the brain's telling you one thing, you're overthinking it here, and it's not just natural. She doesn't look natural. And I worry with the Asuka match. This could be like, Asuka's very fast paced. Asuka does a lot of, quirky stuff because she's a very fluid wrestler, and this could be one where you look at Jade and go, she will have those moments where it's like,
you wonder if they've known this going in for a while, and they've had like Jade and Asuka practicing this in like Natty's dungeon or whatever, and like this match will be a very practiced, and they'll have it down to make her look the best. That's what I would think. That's what I would do if I were them.
Yeah, or if like that's her plan, because if that was their plan the whole time, as far as because we know Perez was working Jade out like before she debuted and shit like that in the PC. Like that's who Roxanne was tasked with. That's why they gave them so much time. They were hoping they'd put a banger on because they, Roxanne sort of helped break Jade in, I guess, in the modern way, in the Meltzer way, that we'd hijack that term or invent it, but I guess that's how, like, how do you, when you get brought into the PC, WWE broke me in. No, it's like who you're rolling with every day, kind of, I'd say, who kind of give you that distinction in WWE, I guess, maybe not as far as like indie or AEW or New Japan, but whatever. That's another story. Jade Cargill, versus Asuka. Asuka's the wily vet who could have a match with a fucking broomstick. And so I just think she'll be tasked with just giving her experience points, and I think they're going to crown Jade. And I think a lot of people are going to get mad and say she's not ready. But I think that's bullshit, pal. I love Jade. I loved her in AEW. I was always putting her over. That's her mingling with Maddie Renkowski. Ren Sinclair is how I discovered Ren Sinclair, and I'm a fucking biggest mark for Ren Sinclair there is. And I think these are the right two ladies, and I think Asuka, you just got to crown Cargill, but if Asuka got the win, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, you might not ever get the women's title again, Asuka, but here, we'll crown you Queen of the Ring one time, but on your way out, because I mean, she doesn't have long left. You got to just be honest, man. But
are there any
injury out?
Are there any stakes when they win? Like, do they get something?
Yes, you get a title shot.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah, not only do you become King and Queen of the Ring, but you get a title shot at SummerSlam. So now it makes...
That's how Nia won it, yeah.
Yeah, and so now it makes the 2-night SummerSlam feel like a WrestleMania kind of, like it really elevates it. You win this event, and then you go on and get your title shot. Now, again, do you get to choose...
No, they said they've made it specific. I've heard Cole say it like every time you go against the champion of your specific brand. So Jade would take on Tiffy. Yeah,
that's awesome. Right? They make it different, and then exactly because and that means so me and Husey were DMing about this allegedly, and I was like, dude, Jade versus Tiffy makes sense coming out of this thing. And then Naomi cashes in on Jade and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my fantasy book, and I think that's what ends up going down. Because I've been saying, Naomi's going to carry that belt up until, like, Mania, lose it, to whoever. So if Jade gets cashed in on by Naomi, and then Naomi carries it till Mania, and then Jade beats Naomi at Mania and wins it back and gets like her real crowning moment, pun intended, then Naomi sort of floats off into the sunset, because she's expressed that she don't know how much longer she's going to be doing that, and that's why she's on this hot heel run right now. And
I can see that. You talked me into that. I'm into that.
Yeah, dude, right? And then because Asuka, this doesn't hurt her to take this L, and then they also teased Asuka versus Io, and that's the dream match we all want before. Like, I like the Kabuki Warriors or whatever. I like the Damage Control, all the Joshis being together. I love that. But let's be honest here. If Asuka's got X amount of time left, we need to see her face Io, Kyrie, and Julia, hopefully all before she's on her, right? We need to see her fight them all and sort of pass that torch, So Io versus Asuka's the match. They already sort of teased that. So I think those are the directions we're going with. And I guess we're getting into predictions a little bit here. So my pick, I think Jade Cargill wins the Queen of the Ring. I think she challenges Tiffy and wins that title. I think Naomi cashes in on her. I'm going way ahead on this one, and I think Asuka goes on to face Io at some point, maybe even SummerSlam. That'd be a great SummerSlam match. What say you, George? Who's your prediction to win the women's Queen of the Ring matchup?
I will pick Asuka, and I will not go any deeper like you did. Sorry.
That's fine.
No, I think she'll win. I like Asuka. I think she needs a good run right now, and this is it. This will be it.
And that would set up Asuka versus Io, wouldn't it? So
exactly.
that would not be bad. Yeah, the moment they teased that, I was like, please give me that match. That's a Mania match almost. I mean, really is. And
so who are you picking, Jake? Who are you picking?
So I'll say. So here's I think Jade's gonna win. I think this match is Asuka was put in there to make Jade look good. Here's the only difference that I think of it. I think that Naomi will cash in and pull like a Seth Rollins and make it a triple threat and steal it from Jade that way, so that Jade does it, so that when Jade finally beats Naomi, that's when that's her first title. But
that's a good idea. That's actually a really good idea too, because then Jade doesn't get like, oh, I won it, but then I dropped it, and then I'm like a former women's champ, but it really doesn't.
And then
mean
and then when she beats Naomi, it fucking matters. And then that sets up her versus Bianca, which I would think would happen at Mania. I don't think Naomi will hold the belt very long, but maybe, who knows?
Yeah.
From a wrestler's point of view, why would you cash in your Money in the Bank and make it a 3-way?
It's fucking hey, George.
George, you're using logic. That's a
hold on now. We're trying to suspend.
I didn't
this
say it was a
here,
logical move, my friend. I just said here's what I would get. I mean, come on,
wrestling's not right.
Bro, why the fuck would the Money in the Bank? Why would the Money in the Bank be a fucking thing? Let's say it was wrestling. You would just I would be like, yeah, I'm fucking. You wouldn't even every title defense. You would just be waiting for the Money in the Bank guy. It wouldn't even be a shock to you. You just know he's coming. Like, you'd hire a bodyguard. You get a fucking manager to throw dust in his eyes or whatever when he comes down.
I mean, Asuka didn't know the title was in the briefcase that one year in 2020. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, let's just let it go. Yeah. No, I mean, Seth Rollins shouldn't have cashed in when Roman and Brock were in there. Like, that didn't make sense, but it worked. So, hey.
Well, that one worked well because they were both like the shit was beat out of them, and then Seth
what I would think Naomi
flying in, hitting moves, then he just flies.
That's what I'm talking about.
That one
kind of
worked.
To save it again for like the next year. Like, we got to do Roman versus Brock again, but we can't have either of them lose. So let's bring in a third party to screw things up for both of them.
Yeah, it did it for the next 7 years.
The booking was great. I was on my awesome, peak game, top of my game, pal. So, Chris, who do you predict will win the
Jade Cargill? She is the money. She's the one that you look at and go, star. Look, I respect Asuka for what she's done. She's pushing 40 Vo. Promo's never a great.
Over 40.
Still just her going, nobody beats Asuka. They look at Jade and go, this is going to be, as you said, Naomi versus Jade, WrestleMania.
Yeah,
Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, WrestleMania. We're strapping rockets to all these four ladies. So this is where we start getting the Jade Cargill mega push.
So, but prior we talked about the men's king of the ring, and we talked about the tournament. Our thoughts, were these the right guys? I think we all sort of agreed these are, the right gentlemen to be in the finals here. My pick actually, let's start with you, George. Who's your pick to win between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes?
I was hoping you weren't going to go to me first, but I will take it, and I will say Randy Orton.
Okay, Chris, what do you think?
It's Cody Rhodes. I want Randy Orton. I want Orton to be the one to take the title off of Cena, but we know it's Cody will be the one to take the title back from John, and John has his final baby face. So, yep, we're getting Cody to win King of a Ring.
Jake, what say you?
Yeah, Cody's getting his Bret Hart moment. Bret Hart lost the title, or had the whole thing with Hogan at WrestleMania 9, and then won King of the Ring to get his mojo back, and then won the belt at 10. That's kind of the same idea that Cody's doing. Cody's got to win. But this is also where Orton is going to finally just snap and turn heel eventually too. I think he might actually kick Cody in the head.
Do you think he punts Cody?
I think he might.
So hold on. Has Orton ever won the King of the Ring before?
I don't
think
know.
He has. I know
they didn't do it for a while. There was a couple. There was points. So I feel like there would have been time for him, but I don't.
No, he's never won it. But then again, they did it from not from 94 all the way to 2002. Then they took a couple years off, and 2006, then 2 years off, in 2008.
So he never got it. Which is fine. I could probably name them all too, like Booker, Sheamus. I know Brock won the one in 2002.
Regal won the one in 2008, and then it went
So we
then it was 5 years. Then Bad News Barrett, Baron Corbin.
Barrett won. Okay, so Orton's never won, obviously. So we have so my pick, I'm gonna go with Cody Rhodes is gonna win. I don't think Orton turns on him just yet. But maybe he doesn't even turn on Rhodes. Pause. Maybe Rhodes and Orton team up against Cena and someone again down the line. Who fucking knows? But I don't know if he'll go all the way to punting Rhodes yet. That might be maybe for the title down the line.
Yeah.
But
it's starting at pushing.
They can start planting seeds. I mean, they always have, even when Orton was eyeing up the title before, when Rhodes had it, and he was staring down the belt and stuff like that. So we're going to get there eventually. I think Rhodes eventually will snap too, but you just see him at the fan fest and everything. Don't even do it yet. He's such an over
way down the line.
Just keep
I don't think you can do either of them as a heel, because with Orton, it's become this sort of beloved. He's, he came back from a horrific back injury. We thought he was going to retire. He's matured. He's become more friendly outside the ring. It's all right,
friendly neighborhood viper.
Yeah, dude, friendly neighborhood viper, man.
It works.
Yeah, dude, he's on his farewell tour as well, just like John Cena is. It's just not really promoted that way. But I think we're gonna get Cody Rhodes winning that tournament. So being left off of this card is Dominic Mysterio, who I guess is shoot work injured. I don't know. Maybe he is. He actually has a hurt rib. Who knows? Maybe he just bruised it and needs some time out. Bruising.
Or maybe they can't get chicken tenders in Riyadh. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And so he is not defending his IC title, and he was supposed to defend his title against who again?
AJ
Styles, correct. So that match will cook, by the way.
Yeah.
And it'll happen down the line, and hopefully AJ gets that IC belt off Dom. No, I'm just kidding. In kayfabe. But I love Dom so much. You don't pull the belt off him. So he's going to have to weasel a win over AJ somehow, and they're obviously saving it for something, or maybe there's a real injury. Who knows? Maybe last minute AJ was like, I'm not going over there. So maybe Dom was like, I ain't going over there. We don't know. We also don't know. That could have happened. Because
there's
out of nowhere
in there somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Antarctica's, I just watched this video about where they brought these flat earthers to Antarctica and showed the three. It's called the final experiment or whatever. And they show the 24-hour sun to them, and it's like, and then they're like, oh shit, I guess the earth is round. It was the funniest.
But there's like one guy who's like, no, just no.
I know,
I'm
yeah.
not.
The
He's
one
just
dude,
like,
I
no.
know the one dude's like, they're
The
all like
one dude.
attacking the flat Earth community's like attacking each other. This all happened over the last like 4 months too. It's so funny.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw that. That was funny.
But anyways, Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross get inserted on this card last minute with on Raw there, Sammy just right hand cuffing Karrion Kross. And I love this. The crowd erupted for Kross. The crowd popped. The IWC went nuts when it was announced that Karrion Kross, who they just released more merch for now. Yeah, I mean, I tweeted it out. I heard like a month or so ago, allegedly, right? Our friend Hughley came on and
allegedly
told me that or I think it was him, I don't know, or maybe DM, but or maybe Conan said it, whatever. It doesn't matter, guys. Listen,
Conan.
Yes, Karrion and WWE have like come to terms and all that shit, but it's just they need to sign something. But I think he's already re-signed, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Omos was like, yeah, I signed my deal a bit ago, and Priest just revealed on Rhodes' podcast, yeah, I re-signed with WWE. He wasn't like, he didn't make a formal announcement, like he did it in private, and then people found out when he said it on the podcast, you know? So they're not really stooging that shit. And Kross could be re-signed, and they released more merch for him, and there's big pops for him. And what I think is they're just slowly building up to, I think personally, he gets a win over Sammy's. No, just kidding. Because they're going to go, this is going to be the big pop for like hometown pop, I guess, if you will. Is Sami Zayn hometown? Like, I don't understand the whole geopolitical, the whole nationality part of it. I don't understand all that.
So Sammy is a Syrian Canadian. So for years, Saudi Arabia.
I know that part. I know he's Syrian from Montreal. Yeah, I know all that, but I don't know like I don't understand like why didn't he go there, and now why, besides a huge paycheck, does he go there now, Chris?
Because for years Syria was at war with Saudi Arabia. So it's
okay, yeah, makes sense. And like now they're not.
I guess there's a ceasefire, or it's all of a sudden,
that whole region, dude. Are they not? They're always. It's like a whole.
Who knows in the Middle East? It's like it's like a mother-in-law. We love her, we hate her, we can't stand her, we love her again. Who the hell knows? It's Tuesday.
Okay, so either way, though, Sammy gets the win and gets a huge pop. They love him out there. So as a Syrian, the Saudis love him out there for whatever reason. So there you go.
The religious things, right? I mean, that's why he went to like the thing, and he went to Mecca and did the whole Islamic thing because that's his religion.
So it's not like a religious beef. They have like a national.
It was more national beef versus religion.
Whatever. That's crazy. Yeah. See, I'm not up on all my shits with that, sir. I'm into fake fights, pal.
That's other people's issues. I don't got time for that. I don't know.
But anyways. But hey, man, prayers up for everyone. I'm glad. Hey, that Sammy breaking down walls and fucking bringing peace to the world and shit, dude. I'm all about that.
Huge for him that time. The last time he was there, or the last 2 times, or whatever. Yeah, you're right. They popped huge for him. So
yeah. So Sammy versus Karrion creeps their way in. I think Sammy obviously gets the win, and everyone's going to be like,
obviously.
Well, yeah, because why
I'm not picking them.
You don't think? Well, because this is my mentality going into it. Actually, maybe you're right because I'm
kind of with you, George.
Yeah, I might be with you on this. Before I lock in a pick, I never lock in my official picks until my live stream the day of. You guys know because I can be persuaded. And here's the thing: you guys know I like to look at Cena's gonna win in the main event,
right?
Unless that shit goes on first and Punk and Cena just get the fuck out of there immediately, because that could be what happened. Brock would do that. He'd show up, go on first, and take a plane out of there before the show's even done. Cena and Punk could easily demand that. Like, yo, we're going on first, and we ain't leaving, or we're leaving, whatever. But my mentality is always like, okay, if Cena wins, they're all going to boo, and then they got to find like an artificial way to send the fans home happy.
Well, I think the main event, from what I've seen, I think the main event is Cody versus Orton.
So that's what I mean. whoever wins is going to get a big pop, and it'll be all respect.
That's kind of good. And I was just gonna say they've set themselves up in that. Like whatever happens in that, you send them home happy and rehab.
So
like that.
Cross gets the big upset fucking win. They should do that. I like that. And then you start slowly. Hey, a win over Sammy. Then maybe he gets a win over.
Now is the time. Now is the time with Cross.
Pull the trigger on him.
Around this whole time. Now is the time. Make it happen. Give him.
And Sammy can get a big pop after if Cross can leave and Sammy can like stand up in front of the crowd. They can do a video package or whatever, and Sammy like stands up in front of the crowd and they get a big cheer for him as he
the loss out of the ring. The loss doesn't hurt Sammy more than the win helps Cross.
But gentlemen, you're forgetting Sammy's feelings might get hurt. And we can't have Sammy's feelings.
I think he'll do work. I think Sammy does work, man. I don't think he cares about none of that. He's put everyone over, Breaker, everyone. Yeah. Why wouldn't he help get Cross?
Yeah, because they're stars. I mean, he can't. It's not like he can go to Triple H and go, "Hey, I want to put over Braun Breaker." Well, I don't want you in the company. So, which one do you not want to do? Okay, I think if it's Karrion Kross, like, look, Sammy's been the guy who's done the jobs. They want to reheat him. There's eventually going to be a Sami Zayn World Heavyweight title run. We're getting it. You might not want it, but you're getting it, damn it.
I never thought there'd be one, but I think there'll be one. Yeah, I used to say he's the Roddy Piper. Like, you just don't ever give him the belt. He doesn't need it, but I think we're going to get one where he wins that World Heavyweight title. They have to. They have to do it one time. But yeah, I like the idea of Cross going over in this, and I think they could continue their feud, and Sammy could get a big win over him in like a cage at Saudi or something. Or SummerSlam. We're already in Saudi, pal. We're going back there SummerSlam. I'm back in charge now. Yeah. But yeah, so Sammy versus Cross at like SummerSlam in a cage or something. Like, you heat it up and then he gets his win back. Or I don't fucking know. Listen, man, push Karrion Kross. He gets big pops. He's on main event. The crowd's giving him standing O's on main event at the tapings. They show up for him. He's loud. The IWC is there for him being loud, and he's getting merch on the fucking shows.
There were multiple signs at Raw when I went to Raw at the beginning of June.
Man, people want Cross. TikTok. It's a matter of time. And him and Scarlett, I say they should bring the Righteous in and fucking have their faction.
No, I'm sorry. Phil, I'm going to push back on this. This roster is bloated already. You have 50 friggin' people on each side. You got almost 100 people in friggin' NXT.
Hire them all. We're hiring everyone.
I know you want to have like a 300 person.
All the wrestlers and all the kittens.
Just to have a Tonga Twins. No, we need cuts. We need hiring freezes. No more hiring people.
I do agree with you.
Yeah, we had the friggin', what is it? Oh, yes, the Wyatt Six. No more people like this.
I know, I agree. No, I agree with you, bro. I actually do. I am just being funny when I'm like, bring the Righteous in and shit, because they keep teasing it. But I do agree with you, bro, especially bringing like Malachi and Rusev and shit back recently, man. They got to just slow up. They got to call up some NXT people, develop them, maybe get another show, dude. Maybe get a third brand.
Bill, I just want to know, have you given up on the Tonga really Twins, or are you still having that campaign with WWE? Bring in Tonga Twins, female bloodline. I will be the manager.
I don't know, man. I think the bloodline stuff now, I would just like go where they're going. If they do like a female version of it, I just think it's passe. Now's not the time to do it anymore. But I'm not against bringing the Tonga Twins in, though. I think the women's tag division is so criminally underutilized for what it could be, and I'm actually like one of the only people happy that the fucking Bellas are coming back, because I want to see them have the tag belts and have tag matches with women and establish a fucking tag division. I've been so about that for so long.
You have.
And I think Evolution is the perfect time to launch that as well. And I think they should launch a fucking women's show, man. They should just do it. Like, why not? No one's doing it at like the mainstream level. Well, we want to keep our women the same as the men. Well, then just still do that with your top stars, but give this other lane for like all these fucking ladies other than just like one all women's PLE, because you can't play that card. Well, we want it to be equal. Okay, then give me an all men's PLE next month. Otherwise you don't actually believe in that shit. Like, otherwise that's not even what it's about. What it's about is, let's give the women Like, listen, I've said it. The women, some of them outdraw the men, but they're still not neck and neck on par. And nor do I think it's necessary either. Like, I'm not sitting here going, we need to make it so that it's 50-50 men and women. You know, I'm not even trying to say that. What I'm getting at, though, is why not just be different and fucking take a chance and just make a women's show, have a women's commentary team. You have dudes interviewing backstage or whatever. You know what I mean? Just flip it around.
I think you could do that on like the NXT level.
That's what I mean. Even just there. But
where do you put it though, Phil? Where are you putting it? Like what day of the week? Where's it going to go?
Fucking, you go head to head with on. You put it on Wednesdays.
I think WNXT. They say it's Wednesday. Yeah, WNXT. I'm with you.
Jesus.
Wednesdays,
YouTube.
Dude.
Yeah, I don't think you do it on the main roster, but if you could do, I could see you doing it.
Here's
on the
the
NXT
thing, man. The tag titles. Then what do? We start giving more time to a women's tag division on the main rosters. Like those women's tag belts need to go away, or you need to establish a fucking coherent division and what brands. They need to unify all the belts and just make all the champs. All the champs go on all the shows, and then everyone else stays brand split. Okay, and then it makes sense when the women's tag division, if there's like a couple opponents on Raw and only a couple on SmackDown, then you can get mileage.
If they move everything to Netflix, that could happen. As long as the USA has its own thing, like they want their own champ. But I mean, those deals are up at some point. Like if they move everything to Netflix worldwide, I would see that happening in a heartbeat.
I think that's the end game.
I do too.
But then you keep like you have to have something on cable and network and shit like promoting
for now, but maybe not in 5 to 10 years.
That's what I mean. In like a decade, though, we don't know how the game's going to change to where you might not need that. Like you could just buy or like TKO is already. I don't know, man. We'll see what this UFC TV deal that's up at the end of the year is going to tell us a lot too about how TKO views like shit going into the future. You know what I mean? Like if they go all streaming, I don't know, man. You know, Dana White likes pay-per-view. He likes being on TV and shit. So I don't know if they just go all streaming, that'll be like, holy shit. You know what I mean? That could indicate, damn, WWE might be looking at that too. But I think that what they'll do is just have their footprint in everything. And I think that's what WWE will do as well. So as long as there's like cable, they'll have a cable show. As long as there's like CW, they'll have something there. They'll have something on streaming. They'll have throwback shows on Peacock. They'll have fucking like a way that because you can still like order Night of Champions. If I'm an old school, old ass head, like my grandpa until the day he passed, God rest his soul, was ordering fucking pay-per-views when it was like unnecessary for some of this shit. It was like, grandpa, you know,
Jim Cornette still does it.
That's what I mean. So like you can still order that shit, and WWE offers that for a reason, because they know, well, if like 100 people do it that way times, you know, $60 or whatever, that's some change, you know? So I don't see them moving. As long as something exists, they'll dabble in it. I think that's the right approach, but like scale. So like, we're going to promote the fuck out of Netflix. We want you here watching it here, but you can buy it on pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to promote that, but you know, so I think that's just the way to do it. But either way,
you can put your woman's show on YouTube, Bill. That would work.
That's what
right?
I'm saying. Yeah. YouTube on Wednesdays. They already do speed, so maybe not Wednesday, but maybe on Sunday. No, because then you'd be competing with yourself sometimes. What's a day where there's no WWE?
Doesn't matter. It's YouTube.
Yeah, you're right. You just put it on YouTube on whatever day, man. Yeah, that's what you do, man. A women's show.
NXT level, it would work.
Yeah, evolve NXT, and then just like if your women's tag champs are like Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, or like the Dungeon Dolls, they can float around and shit. You know what I mean? And they can show up on that show on YouTube. Like it wouldn't hurt Maxine Dupree and Natty Neidhart, who's wrestling on ROW YouTube shows, to wrestle on a WWE YouTube fucking show, you know, and defend tag belts or whatever. Like it doesn't hurt them any to do that. So either way, though, we're getting lost in the sauce on the business end. But that's why I enjoy doing this pod. And so our next matchup we have is Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa. Finally, man, they saved it for Saudi. If you guys remember, Solo Sikoa destroyed John Cena in Saudi, and now he's got a shot to do that to Jacob Fatu. I think this is where we get Hikuleo and possibly all the Tongans come. Maybe just Hikuleo, but we know he will be aligned with his brothers because he's wearing gear. You know, he's doing dark matches and he's wearing fucking gear that looks exactly like theirs. So we know he's like bloodline already, but they were just working him out on dark matches, which is a weird way kind of to introduce him. Don't you guys think? But yeah, like to debut him is kind of a weird way, especially when
knowing how the internet is. Yeah.
Like JC Mateo the way they did. And I would have rather just waited for fucking, I don't know. You guys know how I feel about the JC Mateo, Bronson Reed. More people, if you guys look in the IWC, more and more people are waking up to this fucking my criticisms of this Seth faction. They haven't even given it a name. They've been running around since fucking WrestleMania and shit. Like more and more people are like, yeah, I don't know. Every week, I don't know if I'm feeling this as much. Like as individuals, the guys are all fucking sick, but it's just, and like I'm over it. I'm over ranting about the bloodline shit. But yeah, more people are starting to get what I was putting down early on, man. And it should be JC Mateo in that fucking faction. It should be Bronson Reed on the other side, beefing with like Big Jim and shit like that. But that being said, Solo and Jacob Fatu, U.S. title. You got to keep the belt on Jacob, or do you though? Like this, they could make Saudi a place where Solo does dirty work, and then he gets his comeuppance in America or whatever, especially for the U.S. title. But again, you don't want to beat Jacob right away. Maybe Hikuleo. I could just see them debuting Hikuleo at this show, but then is he made to look stupid right off the rip or whatever? We're already seeing JC Mateo sort of question Solo, so that's pissing me off too, because it's like, what the fuck? Because he's just a random outsider, like dude from like Filipino guy or whatever. He's not even fucking, I don't know, he's Hawaiian or whatever. I guess he lived in Hawaii. He's not even Hawaiian. So it is what it is, man. Bronson Reed would have made more sense because then he could question Solo a bit too. Like, yo, well, I came, whatever. I worked with both you guys, whatever. Solo, you tripping, whatever the fuck. I don't know. But either way, I could see them debuting Hikuleo, although the more I think about it, I don't see how you do that without making it so he helps Solo win.
Right.
But you can't beat Jacob, though. But maybe to get to the Monster Clash, they have JC and Hikuleo like fuck up Jacob, and then he has to run through the whole faction, the Tongans, everyone, to get back to his title that Solo gets. You know, I could totally see that because Solo's a guy that I thought would be WWE champion by like the end of this fucking year, and it's going to take longer because Jacob came on the scene and just got way more fucking over. Really, realistically, that shit fucked up Solo's trajectory, although they're doing the good thing of having them like fight each other and still keeping Solo up there. You know, it's not like he's bad, and Solo's really coming into his own as well. You're starting to see him loosen up and get better and better as well. But yeah, I think Jacob, if I just was just my early pick right now, I haven't seen SmackDown, so I don't know. My early pick is Jacob retains and we see a Hikuleo debut somehow. Now that sounds dumb as fuck, but I don't know. That's my early prediction. What say you, George? Do you think Jacob wins? Do you think Solo wins?
I see Jacob Fatu retaining 100%. I just don't see the advantage of Solo winning right now. But maybe in the future they can do something. I don't know if they're going to do any kind of. You think this might be the overbooked match of the night?
Yeah, I think it's the shenanigans and
Hikuleo,
because didn't they debut another like one of the Tongans in Saudi before?
I don't remember.
I can't remember where they all debuted. I know
because Solo debuted during Clash
at the Castle in Scotland.
That was that whole thing
that was Scotland. In Wales. It was in Wales, but yeah.
Wales, sorry, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But then where did Tama Tonga debut?
That's where I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember that. Yeah.
I think that could have been in Saudi, and then Tonga Loa. Where did he debut?
Because they both debuted.
It's at huge events, man. They all debut at big events, and that one with JC Mateo. Where was that event? Where did JC Mateo debut as well?
All right, so Tama Tonga debuted the SmackDown after WrestleMania. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that was big. Yeah, that was a big event though. And then where did JC Mateo? I think he wrestled there with New Japan a bunch or something. So that's why they debuted him where they did in Missouri or whatever the fuck. But they didn't. Tonga
Loa made his debut at Backlash France.
Backlash France, so
Oh,
these
it's
big
France.
international shows. So, hey, man, maybe a wild Hikuleo shows up. I mean, they've been having him on dark matches. Why?
See, I don't think Hikuleo shows up after. I think Jacob wins, and then that's what makes Hikuleo show up at the next SmackDown or something.
Yeah, that's a good call too. Maybe like the SmackDown after.
Yeah, that's what I would
think.
think.
Yeah, that could be a good call too.
That's the way to do it. That's where I could see them doing that, where Jacob can win and Solo then has to bring in more for a bigger army or something.
And
then the Tongans are probably going to come back soon.
And we've seen Big Jim sort of align with Jacob as well. And maybe we could get Jacob and Jim at SummerSlam versus like Hikuleo and Solo or some shit like that with the Tongans in their corner or something. Chris, who do you think's going to win, Jacob or Solo?
Oh, Jacob. I mean, look, I like Solo, but I was thinking about this. Solo Sikoa is like Arn Anderson. He's solid. He can be threatening, but there's nothing like snazzy. You look at Jacob Fatu, and you get those vibes of Goldberg, Great Muta. Like, you got to watch him.
Yeah,
you know
just,
what
I
it
love
is,
that.
he just must see TV.
He's
So
aura,
yeah,
dude.
we're getting Jacob Fatu, and I will say this: by 2027, we're getting Jacob Fatu in a minute, headlining WrestleMania night 1 or 2
against Braun Breaker. That match is gonna feed families for years.
Well, here's the thing: they might save that shit.
They might.
They
But it's
might
gonna happen,
because like you got to think about the match like Jacob could have with a Seth Rollins or something real,
or Roman Reigns.
Yeah, or a Roman Reigns even. Like he would fuck. Oh my god! And Roman's gotta put. I've been saying this for a long time too. Roman's gotta put Jacob over one time before he goes. He's got to put Jacob over once, lay down clean for him or whatever. Let's say there's a bunch of schmozzy shit, whatever. Roman on his way out has got to lay down for Jacob one time. That should be his fucking retirement match, like passing that torch. Yeah. Even though I think he'd more do it for Solo, like IRL, like for a shoot, than he would Jacob, because Solo and the Usos, like for a shoot, are way closer with Roman, like growing up and shit. You know what I mean? But anyways, we have Jake. Do you think Jacob's winning or Solo?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think Jacob's winning.
We have a street fight, Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez, and it's just a beefy woman meat match, right? No belt on the line. I don't know, was this supposed to be like a tag match, or was this supposed to be Liv in this match before? I don't fucking know. She was feuding Nikki Bella, kinda. Who knows?
I think this kind of gave something for Raquel to do since Liv got hurt.
But listen, on Raw, man, the pops for Rhea were insane, and Raquel too. Like when Rhea and Raquel started throwing down, the crowd went fucking nuts. So I'm really glad to see everyone sort of get behind Raquel again. She's back, like Raquel, baby. And it's going to be her and Rhea in a street fight. And I hope everyone stays fucking healthy, man, because Chad Gable is allegedly working with injuries now. Who called that? Fucking Husey DM'd me, and we talked about it. The AAA show. He was like, listen, expect Gable to have some, I read it on the fucking air, to have some time, because he's doing 2 fucking matches at once, doing as El Grande in the Money in the Bank and that match with Vikingo. He's already banged up because he works every Raw, and he's doing 2 matches. Look for him to get some time. So Gable's had some fucking time. He's been on TV, but he ain't fighting and having crazy matches and brawling since then. And now the reports are out that he's actually dealing with a bit of an injury. And Husey was like, this is Triple H's fucking fault, because he knew. This is what Husey DM'd me today. He's like, Triple H fucking knew that guy was banged up going into the AAA show and Money in the Bank. He's like, so I hope he got paid and shit. Or maybe I said that, but we hope he got fucking paid for that shit, bro. And I'm sure he did. Yeah, big time. And we know those fucking El Grande merch checks are clearing, and they added El Grande shit to the 2K25 game and stuff. So he's fucking, hopefully he's bankrolling on all that, and hopefully he gets some. And you guys saw his elbow real taped up there when he showed up at Money in the Bank and shit. So yeah, hopefully he's all good. And I know everybody likes to fucking play the gimmick of like, oh, El Grande and Chad aren't the same guy, but they are. Okay, IRL. And like, I hope he gets some
It's
rep,
one dude.
And yeah, Husey was going off about that. Now, I hope Rhea and Raquel stay goddamn healthy, man. Okay, because they've been going hard in the paint lately. I think Rhea gets the win. I think that's just like a shoe-in obvious win, though, in my opinion. What do y'all think? We can start with Jake. Who do you think wins?
Yeah, I don't see any reason why this isn't a way for Rhea to get heated back up to get back in the title picture.
What about you, George?
See, here's the thing. Rhea should easily win. However, the street fight thing has me kind of wondering if they have something in mind for Raquel to take this. In a regular match, Rhea would easily win. There's not even a question. But you throw a street fight element in here, and there's something.
And then Raquel runs in and sort of.
There's something in the back of my mind. Something in the back of my mind says she might take this because it doesn't mean that Rhea's not going to lose any popularity if she loses this. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, and especially if she gets like slammed through some tables and shit, or some Slim Jim tables or something, you know?
No.
Yeah, that could set up a Rhea and Roxanne feud for a bit too. That's a good point. I think George might have convinced me on that one.
Yeah, that's a good call as well.
Yeah, know? I think I've been turned. It's a good point.
So we went over the King and Queen of the Ring winners. Chris, sorry, actually, who do you think, Rhea or Raquel? You're gonna pick Rhea.
Yeah, they've dropped the ball with her. I mean, she's just floating around like, okay, what am I gonna do? And let's just reheat. This is like leftover, Chinese food after a week. Like, all right, well, we can still have it, but we've done it before.
Though. And Chris's analogies, they're so good.
Because how many times have we seen like Raquel versus Rhea in the last year, in some form or other? It's just this feels like, oh, we have nothing else to do. Let's just throw them together and they'll have a good match. And hey, we want to worry about Rhea turning heel or Io getting just overwhelmed by Rhea.
Not to be a dick, Chris, but have we seen that a lot this year? I don't remember seeing Raquel versus Rhea because Raquel's been out with their skin condition.
Yeah, I think before her skin condition, I think there was more. They
did have a couple matches where Rhea won flat out. Like it was a tag situation, I think, and then they even had a singles one where Rhea won flat out. But we didn't see them have a match like in a minute here, and like George said, in a PLE in a street fight setting to where this could be. But you're right though. I think Chris is right about. People think Rhea's floating and she just gets inserted in these matches and gets wins over people when she isn't really doing anything. People do echo that sentiment. So maybe her losing, but fuck the IWC. Who gives a shit what they think? Rhea's over as fuck. She's always got one of the
so over, man.
She's one of the top ladies. So yeah, you saw the reaction too, and that I don't know. I just think
she gets massive pops.
Yeah, I think.
Right, so the last time we had. We've had last year, we had Rhea Ripley versus and Tiffany Stratton versus Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez. We had War Games where we had Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez. We had the night after War Games, Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez.
Is this last year?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, so dude, it's 6 months into January, February, March, April, May, June. We're 6 months deep into this year. So, I mean, I think we're good enough. That's half a year away. That's a long-ass time if you think about it.
It's just, we can't have Rhea, take on Stephanie Vaquer right away. That's not good. And we don't want Rhea to just destroy Io Sky because then Io Sky is sort of in no man's land. So let's just have, reheat Rhea versus Raquel Rodriguez, and then we'll kick that can down the road. So
I could see that, though. I do see what you're saying at that aspect where, yes, the win maybe in their mind is Rhea just needs one to stay, to keep her, because she is kind of floating right now in this. And since the Liv stuff, it's kind of all right, where do you go here? Everyone wants to see Asuka, Io, and everyone. I don't know. I'm just down with this match. You're picking Rhea. My initial pick, I think, was Rhea, but George might have convinced me. This might be where you slam Rhea through some shit. Raquel comes, hits a double team, and then this is the catalyst to launch. And then maybe you feign an injury on Rhea again, or she's out a couple weeks, and then maybe this is what makes Raquel and Roxanne be well, we're gonna Freebirds rule it, and we're the tag champs, and then I could see that. But either way, we have the main event. Okay, John Cena and Punk one last time in Saudi. Think about this. It's 2025. What? We have John Cena's your WWE champion. Punk is challenging for the title in Saudi Arabia, and Cena's the heel, and Punk is the fucking babyface. What the fuck timeline?
Are you sure about that?
What the fuck? And what does John Cena wear for his Saudi Arabia gear is what I want to know. Like, is it all like, what's the Saudi flag? You know?
I don't know. It's the green and white flag, isn't it?
Yeah, dude. So is it just like green and white gear,
Yeah.
or like how does he
I think so.
approach this? Or does he just like cop out and do black and gold for Night of Champions? Like, what does he do? I don't know. And what does CM Punk do? Does he make a statement and wear the colors of a flag of like an opposing whatever, a rivaling fucking nation? Who knows?
Probably not a good idea.
He's always going.
Does John Cena have to make a fucking hostage video in Cantonese explaining why he is apologetic about all of that shit aside? Listen, jokes aside. This is a fucking match that I just can't wait for because it's the last time ever. Gong. So I want to hear your guys' picks. Chris Connors, we're going to start with you. Does John Cena walk away with the title here at Night of Champions?
Because we know the story, unfortunately. It's got to be John Cena will finally drop it to Cody Rhodes, and then we'll get Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk next year at Mania. I mean, there's a lot of things I love, but they're got to be on their best behavior. So, no protest flags, no LGBT posters, none of that crap. It's going to be like Cena will come out in his little like orange and like, sort of, those jean shorts. Punk will come out in his retro outfit. There's going to be no shenanigans or else.
I hope he does, though. Bruh, I hope Punk comes out wearing the yellow and black and a fucking Stone Cold t-shirt, dude. That would be big body, man. That'd be fucking hard body, man.
Armband.
And then imagine this Mania. Austin's like, one more match, kid. Him versus Punk. One more match, kid. Oh, shit. We're Fantasy Mark booking it. Okay, so Jake, I want your pick. Cena or Punk?
Oh no, Cena's definitely winning.
Yeah,
Cena's definitely winning. I always think Punk for his gear, when all else fails, he just defaults back to like Bret Hart colors. I think he's just gonna come out in pink and black and just be happy with that.
George, what say you? And you've been dropping bombs today. I want your theory on like if there is any type of shenanigans during this match. You gotta imagine there's gonna be. So who's your pick, and what type of shenanigans is it truth? Is it Logan Paul? Is it
That's right? Yeah. I got Cena winning via disqualification. So Cena retains the championship, obviously on a DQ. But you're going to get I think I had R-Truth in the top of my mind of doing something weird to come in and hit Punk and disqualify where he gets to win because he's in Cena's corner supposedly. I don't know. I don't know. I'll stick with Punk on a DQ victory.
Okay. That's a good one. So then Punk technically gets the win, and then they play the look in my eyes. What do you see? And then, but ultimately Cena leaves with the belt, and then maybe we get a rematch for it. I just don't know how many rematches in tow Cena has.
Yeah, I don't think they got a rematch. I think that'll be the last one.
I think will be, so I think we might get the 1, 2, 3 finish, but there'll be some dirty shit, a ball kick and a fucking title shot, or like Truth comes out, or like Drew McIntyre Claymore's Punk or some shit. Like, it'll just be something wild happens. Maybe Logan Paul gets involved so that we get Punk versus Paul at SummerSlam or something like that.
I know it's not going to happen, but imagine if Travis Scott came down.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Dude, I'd be like, all right.
The
Travis Scott might get arrested.
Oh, God, the meltdown.
Presidential interference.
I would fucking lose my shit if he.
So I'm not going to get to watch this pay-per-view live or this PLE live mostly because I'm coming home from Vegas that day. And so if I look on if I see I have a lot of notifications on Twitter, I'll know something happened. I'm gonna try to like avoid catching any spoilers. But
do the Saudis like those rapper guys?
Cuervo, they love Cuervo.
I just have a better question. It's a dry country, so can Travis Scott not drink or get stoned? That's
no. It's not dry to it's not dry to Westerners anymore. They actually allow, in certain areas they actually allow, like when the WWE women superstars go there, they get a sectioned off private beach where they can chill in bikinis and shit and fucking take pictures and be like, we're in Saudi and stuff. And also, Westerners in general, when they do these big events now, these boxing fights, because a lot of, again, rappers, social media influencers and shit fly down there. So they have areas section where they can like drink and go and buy alcohol and do all this shit. But apparently the people who live there fucking hate them because they're not allowed to do this shit that like they're allowed to do and whatnot. So
imagine having to like serve them with that and you couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's rather interesting. But my pick, I think it's obvious John Cena leaves with the belt by hook or by crook, right? Yeah. So, I just think that's the obvious way to go. I'm more curious, honestly, to see if this match main events or starts the show. It'll be very telling, dude, where this match takes place on the card as far as, like, what the attitude is as far as, like, are we trying to get the fuck out of here or not? But overall, I'm really looking forward to this event. It has an early start time, 1 p.m. Eastern. So if you're listening to this podcast on Saturday, PWT live show on YouTube, exclusive to YouTube, come and check me out. I'll be watching this show live at youtube.com/@prowrestleclips at 1 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you're there, and I'll be on a little earlier than that, maybe a half hour or an hour earlier than that to go over some hot news and whatnot. And there's no other PLEs going on this weekend, is there, my friends?
No.
This is the big one. And then after that, we head towards AEW All In Texas. So
which is the same day as Great American Bash and Saturday night's main event.
Right. So that will be absolutely amazing. And of course, I'll do preview shows leading into that. I want, before we get out of here, I just want your guys's final thoughts, like going into Night of Champions. Is there anything that we didn't put on the table as far as like the controversies, what your thoughts are going into this event, how the tournaments have been, or just overall your thoughts on Night of Champions and the Queen and King of the Ring? Do you think this overall came across like a success? I know we haven't seen the Night of Champions event itself, and there's not a lot of title matches on here, unfortunately, as well, because why call it Night of Champions? They could have just called it like the King and Queen of the Ring and had a title match on it or whatever, but that's being semantical. I'm okay with it being the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments happening on TV, then culminating. So do you guys think the overall concept that Triple H tried to break out this year, should they repeat it next year? Your overall thoughts? Are you excited? Chris Connors, we'll start with you, my friend. He sighs. The first thing he does is fucking.
I was thinking about this here, and I hate Triple H's booking.
Okay.
It's just too. It's going to happen. There's no spontaneity. Oh,
I disagree with that. So
surprises.
Bad, really.
It's like I could literally pick this card and go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I know who's going to win right off the bat, and I'd love for him to just like pull something wild, like hey, have Randy Orton beat Cody Rhodes, but that won't happen. Or hey, let's have all of a sudden. Cena versus Punk and Seth Rollins cashes in, but no, that won't happen. That's what I hate. It's just, it feels almost like I'm watching a sitcom where every week it's going to be sort of lead to the same thing. There's no surprise. It's just.
Yeah, but that's the Saudi shows though. So like if the Saudi shows like to be that way.
You weren't surprised when Cena like turned heel, or when fucking
Truth came back?
like when Gunther, or when Truth came back, or when Gunther just choked out Jay on fucking Monday Night Raw. Like none of that.
No, I was not surprised about the Gunther thing because you knew Goldberg was coming back. Yeah, and they didn't what they did. That Jay was not like the long-term plan. That was like they walked into like, oh crap, Jay Uso is very over. We need to give him a world title run.
I do agree. They just slapped one on him for the he'll never. I don't think he'll ever get the WWE title, but he get the fucking world heavyweight title for sure. And
as soon as they brought the Cody, I want your soul. You knew something was going to happen in terms of a turn, It's just, as I said, we know what's going to happen. It's going to be Cena versus Cody at SummerSlam for the world title. And again,
is that what it's going to be?
Something where it's like, holy crap, I did not see that coming. This is just, I'm going to be edgy here. It's like I'm having, a nice burger and a fry and a Coke, and it's just, I want something that's like, holy crap, I did not see this coming. This is something outside the box, and I don't think so. Is that.
So if Cross beats Sammy, will you concede like, damn, that was pretty sweet? I didn't see that coming.
No, there's no real stakes. They're both sort of floating around doing nothing. I would like, something like Seth Rollins cashes in, and all of a sudden Cena and Punk are like, what the hell just happened? Like something that really upends the apple cart.
Okay, I guess, but okay, but then where do you go from there? Like, just because you do a shock, it's like in the movie Saw. They're like, oh, we'll cut this guy's balls off, and then they'll shoot up through his head with a pin needle, and then you're like, well,
you can have,
or it's like when you go and see a scary movie, and then they build up the tension, and then it's like, and then they just use a loud noise, bah! And then everyone jumps because it's like, well, that's a loud noise. You didn't even actually really scare me with anything scary, you just relied on a fucking cat. A cat jumps out of the thing. It's just cheap. Yeah, like so many movies just rely on like the jump scare. Do you think like they've given us so many good twists and turns thus far? I think Night of Champions, you just book a straight up show.
No, I don't think they've given us any twists and turns in the last year. It's been this. We've been able to like pinpoint. Okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Yeah, this is what's going to happen. We knew John Cena was getting one final title run. Raheel was a little surprised, but you knew it was going to come because they wanted him to break the record so they can just X out, Ric Flair from the record book. It's like, all right.
No, I don't think that's why. I think Cena earned it.
No. He's no longer WWE, record holder. We're getting rid of it, motherfucker.
No, I don't think they're getting rid of Flair, bro. They like.
Flair. Yes, they have stripped him from like the records and everything. You don't see him on any of the highlights. They want nothing to do with him. He is persona non grata.
Man, I don't know about all that, but he has been shitting his pants at like restaurants lately and shit. Okay, so George, man, what is your?
You're gonna make me follow that, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, are you gonna shit on this all of this further and shit on my good time? Or are you gonna? No, I don't care. Do it, but yeah, dude, Chris was just like, fuck that.
I like the Night of Champions concept. I like the fact, if you're going to pick something for Saudi Arabia, this is fine.
Bingo.
And the best part for me is it's in the middle of the beginning of the afternoon, so I ain't got to stay up late, and I'm happy.
Me too, brother. Hey,
you're early.
Maybe hot date my wife for once or something.
There you go.
Jake, what do you think about pretty much just your overall sentiments and like is this the success and the King and Queen of the Ring tying in?
This is George nailed. This is perfect for Saudi, and that's why this show doesn't need a lot of twists and turns because they know the sentiment of the Saudi shows is people aren't that big of fans of them in general. So it's better to have the shows that like this where you don't have a big surprise or something big crazy happen. They had that at the last PLE with Money in the Bank when they had Truth come back in the main event. So it's like, and then they've got Saturday night's main event and then coming up into SummerSlam. So I feel like they'll build it up into that. This is perfect for Saudi. That's why I feel like it can be predictable. And that's why it's in the middle of the day. I mean, you're not, who wants to get surprised at 2:00 in the afternoon,
Well, Chris, let me ask you something then. So what do you think about this? And I'll play a fucking little X-Files here. So if Goldberg beats Gunther at Saturday Night Main Event and then Seth cashes in on Goldberg and takes the belt from him in his retirement match, and that's how they counterbook fucking All In to try and, would that shock you? Is that like a fun, crazy? That's unpredictable and crazy.
It's fun, but it's still like,
You're just sour grapes on everything. See, that's why I asked that question. Because people are going to go, I'm going to go nuts for that. And I'm already telling you it's going to happen. I already know it's going to happen. And I'm going to go nuts for that.
I'm looking at this going, oh God, 58-year-old Goldberg. And the man who is a product of a baby between Dan Severn and Lance Storm Gunther. Crap. Just shoot me. No, I don't want this. I'd rather Jey Uso, who has, character, rather than Gunther, who, as I said, is like the love child of Dan Severn and Lance Storm.
Lance Storm. That's just mean.
Chris, you gotta be single, right?
I think that Gunther can afford to have his only losses. First off, he's beat everyone who's beat him, right? And his only WWE losses, I think, are like Dragunov, who he then beat, like back, and then Jey Uso, who he then beat, and then who else beat Gunther? Sammy. And then he's also beaten
Cody
Sammy
Rhodes.
before.
That's it. That was the only people.
And then Cody Rhodes beat him.
Cody Rhodes
and
that whole show
last year.
Yeah, and so those are the only names, and I believe Gunther will get the win back over Cody Rhodes. And think about if Goldberg is like one of the only other names on that
yesterday.
list.
Gunther's promo on Raw was great.
Yeah, it's super good, man. But you can't beat Jay with Goldberg. That's like nuclear heat. The fans would fucking just eat you alive for that. Whereas Gunther, if one of the only losses ever, like let's say in his whole career, the only loss he never like rectified was to Bill Goldberg. That's like a really incredible resume. You know what I mean?
Especially people want Goldberg to get like really hurt. I mean, have you seen Goldberg? He's 58 years old. Legs are kind of skinny here.
Yeah.
No, people, no.
I know, but guys, he's not going to have. But here's the thing, Chris. They're going head to head with All In, right? They booked 2 shows head to head with All In Texas. Goldberg, Tony Khan's like a big mark for Goldberg. Wanted Goldberg to sign there, and so Goldberg comes in, wins the world title, and then he celebrates. Yeah, I won the world title and shit. And then Seth cashes in, stomps him, pins him. Wins the world title, nuclear heat. Goldberg, that's his retirement match. And then you get the best because Goldberg's like, yeah, I want to win. But then like he has to lay down. That's the time honored tradition. You lay down on your way out. So
Breaker gets to spear him too.
Breaker spears him, bro. Think about it. Breaker spears him. Seth stomps him.
What happens if Goldberg like tears his hamstring?
He finishes the match. It's his last ever match. It's his last ever match. I'd be sad, but he chose to go in there as an old man. You know, that's his fucking prerogative. But that wouldn't shock you. Like you wouldn't pop for that.
No more old men here. What's next? Hey, we should have Ric Flair versus Phil Marks at WrestleMania. That way, Flair can maybe die. Phil Marks can get the pop, and WWE can go, "Hey, we had Ric Flair's last match."
Why not now, Chris? Listen, Goldberg ain't gonna die in the ring. He's not gonna have a fucking heart attack
Eric.
The way Ric Flair did at that Conrad Thompson show.
Yeah, he's 58, not 78, dude.
Yeah, so
and he didn't live as hard as Rick. Rick's an old 78 too. Like he's a hard 78. Goldberg's not too rough of a 58.
Well, speaking of not too rough, I had a blast doing this podcast, and I think it was not too rough or shoddy of a time. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for my esteemed panelists here today.
Phil, can I just do one thing before?
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do I just want to do this once.
What did you do?
My sigh.
Oh, you're okay. All right.
Acknowledge me.
I love you, Chris. I love you, man. You're the best.
Thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, check me out Saturday. I'll be live for Night of Champions during the day of Champions, I guess. Right. So make sure you tune in youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips to check that out. Make sure you check out my friends. Chris Connors, why don't you plug what you got to plug before you get out of here?
Yep, you can check me out. It's thelastcallpodcast.com. We just dropped an interview with Amazon Prime's new hit show Countdown with Elliot Knight and Uli Kefu, who used to play the Young Rock. We also have Marcel Dorff talking about John Jones' retirement and this weekend's UFC 317 card. And always a pleasure, being with you guys. And you can also check me out on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, and even a YouTube channel.
What's your Twitter? Last Call with Chris.
Last Call with W Chris C.
With W Chris C. So make sure you guys give him a follow. George and Jake. George is at George Capture, but Jake, you're at All Jake Takes On. Why don't you guys plug your guys' show together here?
Yeah, no, everything for mine is at All Jake Takes On, whether it's youtube.com or Twitter. You can find us on there. I'm working on getting our podcast up on podcast feeds as well. We do at least one recorded episode per week, and we're trying to do a classic match review of the week. But I think our big thing has been Sunday Night Spaces, where we go live on Twitter every Sunday around 8:05 Eastern. This Sunday, we're going to have Marie Shadows with us, so we're really excited about that to talk some NJPW and some MLW. We had Dose on a couple weeks ago. George is my booker. He just tells me who the guests are going to be, and I'm like, great, this is awesome. It's been a fun time for sure. Come check us out. We're slowly growing. Yeah,
excellent, man. Make sure you guys check that out. Hit subscribe, follow. Make sure you check out Sunday Spaces. George, anything else you want to plug or add to that shit?
No, it's all good. We do well. We're having fun. We're having fun.
Yeah, it's
We're
a
having a
great
good time.
That's good,
We're
man.
figuring it out on the fly. It's kind of fun to watch us grow.
Excellent.
We're learning.
So guys, make sure you fucking sub to that, and I'm sure they'll have like a review show on Sunday after the Saturday Night of Champions and then on Spaces. But yeah, youtube.com/@ProWrestleTimes, patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes as well. If you support what I do, there's like over 100 exclusive videos on there. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple or whatever, guys, come and check me out on my video platforms. There's lots and tons of content and live streams and all of that, and I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you, my esteemed panelists. Again, one last round of applause, folks. Until next time, I will see you in the upside down. Peace and love, everybody.